Hey guys, just wanted to stop in real quick today, do a quick little spring market update. We're just wrapping up the spring quote unquote selling season that we normally would call a selling season. This spring was a little slower than normal. I'm going to share a slide with you here on where we are May 12th of this year versus May 12th of last year. Basically, long story short, we have definitely shifted. The market has shifted to what we would call a balanced market. For the last several years, as far back as I can remember, I can't even remember when the last time we were in a balanced or buyer's market, but we've been in a seller's market for quite a long time, and as you know, and what that basically means when we're in a seller's market, there are more buyers in the market than there are sellers, basically, or more buyers for less inventory, which has really been the main culprit behind our huge price jumps over the last several years, which I'll show you a graph in just a second. But basically, we've moved into what we call a balanced market in most areas. Some areas still have a weak seller's market, but then we have, we're starting to see markets every month now coming on with that are actually in a buyer's market where there's more inventory than there are buyers. So just to kind of give you an idea, this is May 12th of this year versus last year, May 12th. The number of listings is up 44.3%. We're sitting here with almost 18,000 active listings for sale on the MLS, in our local MLS, which basically is most of Maricopa County, all of Maricopa County, up 44.3%. This number in a normal, quote unquote, normal market, you'll see this number of active listings anywhere from 22 to 28,000 homes on the market. When we were in the foreclosure crisis, that number was well over 30,000 homes on the market. So just to give you an idea, we're still not there. We could still use some more inventory, but this is a significant increase over this time last year. We've got almost 9,000 listings under contract, which is a drop of almost 14% over last year. So less homes are going under contract. Monthly median sales price. This is the crazy thing. This price just keeps going up every single month. I'll show you. We had a small dip in 2022, into 2023 when interest rates spiked. But for the most part, that's been going on for a long time, and that's just simply supply and demand. Okay, we haven't had any inventory. We've had a lot of buyers out there looking and competing with each other, which drives up the price. Closed sales were down 6.2%. We sold a total of almost 7,100 homes compared to last year. That's down 6.2%. Median days before accepted contract. This is a big jump since May of 2022. I remember in 2021. This number was below here. I think it was around 3 or 4 days on market, and we were selling homes. That's jumped significantly up to 27 days. And last but not least, days of supply. What that means is if no new listings were to come on the market, basically at the current annual rate of sales, the inventory would run out in, right now, 90 days. In 2022, before interest rates spiked again, we were down to a 24-day supply. Again, in 2021, late 2020, this number was about half that. We were at 10 to 12 days of supply is all. So market is definitely changing, okay? Shifting more to what we call a balanced market. There's some great commentary here that kind of explain where we are. This is all from the Cromford Report. This is a subscription service that I subscribe to that is just all they do is local Arizona real estate data analysis. So really good stuff. I've got access to every zip code in the valley for this kind of information. So one thing I did want to show you, though, one of the things that I'm hearing more and more when I'm talking to especially the younger first-time buyers, one of the things they're saying is, well, we want to buy a home, but we're waiting for interest rates to drop. One thing you got to understand, okay, the market is now starting to shift, and it probably will move into what I would call a buyer's market here over the next couple, 3 months. It's looking that way, at least. What people need to understand is these homes are going to keep going up in price until we start to see more inventory hitting the market. Well, what's going to make inventory hit the market? 65% of sellers have a rate of 4% or lower. Okay, so they don't want to leave that rate. They don't want to sell their home and go into a right now about 7.1% mortgage is where they're at. And understandably so. I can 100% understand where they're coming from on that. So then the question becomes, okay, what happens when interest rates, they're predicting now a quarter to maybe a half point by the end of the year. When rates drop into that 6.5% range, what's going to happen? Well, historically, the buyers tend to get very active when we drop into that 6.5% and below range. So what's going to happen is you're going to have buyers getting off the fence when it gets down to 6.5% because those payments are going to get more affordable. And however, we're not going to see a flood of homes hitting the market from these sellers because remember, 65% of them are sitting there at 4% or less. And to go from 3%, 3.5% up to 6.5% still isn't going to get them too excited. I don't think we're going to start to see sellers justify making a move until that number starts with a 5, a 5.5, 5.75, even 5.99 might get them moving. But right now, they're just not interested in doing anything. And like I said, you can't blame them. For the most part, the only people that are selling, not the only, but for the most part, are people that need to sell, not people that want to sell. In other words, people that want to just move into a different neighborhood or people that want to upsize or downsize. They're still going to hang in there and wait this thing out until it makes more financial sense for them. The most of the people that I'm dealing with that are selling homes they have to sell. Okay, they're getting a job transfer or a divorce or a death in the family or something along those lines, and they're just in a position where they need to sell. So the getting back to what I was saying earlier, one of the biggest things that buyers are telling me is, hey, we're going to wait until interest rates drop. The problem is for every quarter point that we drop in interest rates, almost 3 million buyers come off the fence and enter the market. They say, on average, for every 1 full point drop, in other words, if we were to go from 7.1 to 6.1 tomorrow, that would move 5 million buyers into the market, which gets us back into, if we don't have that inventory, it gets us back into multiple offers and just a market we really don't want to be in again. So, one of the things I'm showing people that are talking about delaying until these interest rates drop, you got to remember the prices are going to keep going up. Okay, they're not going to flatten out, they're not going to drop, and I'll show you historically how that works. But by delaying the process over interest rates, the price is going up every month on these houses. Okay, so I know it's tough to bite off a 7.1% mortgage rate, but historically 7.1 isn't that bad. Here's a graph going all the way back to 2001 that shows the median sales price in our MLS, which is Greater Phoenix, just Maricopa County, basically. The average sales price in 2001 obviously was $135,000. It went up and up and up, and then we had the Great Recession. It dropped down to 110, and then look what it's done since 2011. It's just gone up and up and up. We had this little dip, like I talked about, in 2022, where we went from 455 briefly down to 430, and now we're already back up. I looked at it today, it's actually up to 452 is our average sales price in Phoenix. So by waiting for interest rates to drop, what buyers don't understand, a lot of them, is they're allowing prices to continue to rise. We know that interest rates are going to come down. I mean, that everyone's talking about, every economist in the world or in our country is talking about how interest rates will come down once that inflation rate gets down a little bit. We're also waiting on some employment numbers to come in that could help rates. But you can always refinance when the rate comes down. At least if you know somebody that's looking to buy a home and they're telling you they're waiting for these interest rates to come down, just remind them that, in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, if rates are down, 5%, even 6%, and they're in at a 7.1 right now, they can always refinance it. And at least they're locked in on their price now. So anywho, not to be too salesy, I just wanted to kind of show you what's going on in the spring market. Basically, we had a very slow spring. I feel like it was pretty slow. I was busy, but in talking to a lot of the agents that are out there, people didn't knock it out of the park. And what we're kind of thinking now is that spring is kind of moving into summer. Normally what happens in the summer, I should have put up this graph. I forgot to pull it up, but every single year from about July 1st on to the end of the year, we just see a slow drop in sales. And then come January, February, it picks up again. And then June comes, and at June and July, and it starts to come down again. There is a little window in there in June and part of July where sales do pick up for those people that want to get their kids into schools before school starts. So that's something to think about if you're thinking of selling right now. And remember, most of these schools are now starting August 5th. It's crazy. I remember, gosh, when I was in school 100 years ago, school didn't start until around Labor Day. Seems like that's what I remember, or maybe the week before. So anyway, hope that helps. I just wanted to get that out there, show you guys kind of what's going on in the market. As always, if you have any problems, questions, you know where to find me. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a cool summer. I'll be checking in once a month just to see how things are going. And as always, call me if you need anything. Have a good one.